Excuses, excuses, excuses. Life is tough, for sure. Life is unfair, for sure. Life is unbalanced, completely. Life. True, true, true. But that's not an excuse not to try and make an effort in everything that you do. If you want to pass in an exam, you have to read and study. You have to concentrate. You have to make sure you understand what your lecturer or your teacher is teaching you, to be able to have an understanding of the subject matter and to be able to read, prepare, revise, and also sit for that exam. If you don't do any of that, then how will anyone even know you're there? If you have no registration on your exam, then why would you then complain if you don't see yourself in the final paper, in the final results, if you never paid for the exam or you never paid for the fees, if you never were there present in the class, the whole logic then loses itself. So then you can't complain and say, it was this, it was that. My friend, you have to pay for the fee, you have to be present for the classes, you have to concentrate, you have to revise, and you have to prepare and you have to sit for the exams and be graded. Once you're graded, you will either know if you've passed or failed. Then you can make other decisions based on that. Your certificate won't come like a fairy, just throw in a certificate, say take. While life can and shall never work like that. Just even if you want to vote someone in power, you have to assess their candidates, look at their history, make sure that you have registered for voting. You make sure that you have been at the polling stations, you have voted, and then you wait for the results. If you've done none of that and then you wake up and start complaining about a leader or this or that, who really has a problem right there? Because even if one person stood up and vote, that vote counts. Yes, as usual, we'll have the whole rigging and all that stuff. But the fact is, you can't speak if you didn't make the effort. Let's say you want to be able to be promoted in a company or in any institution. So, one, you have to apply for the job. First, you have to look at the qualifications that are needed. Then you apply for it. But at the time you are applying for it, you have to ask yourself, have I upskilled? Are there any other extra courses that I've done? You don't have to do like go to another university. We have so many online courses building on technical skills, soft skills, paid and unpaid. Others you have to get into seminars and conferences. At the end of the day, if you haven't upskilled, how will you be able to take up the role that you desire? It's not rocket science. Every day, life is different. Back then, we didn't need to use chatbots. Right now, they are the thing. If you're dealing with a company, they'll send you a WhatsApp message or even in their website. Who do you end up to communicate with is the chat box. Having been coded what is needed based on the analysis of the company and the type of issues they have dealt with, the chat box will reply to you. So now you're not dealing directly with the person. In some companies, even in call customer care, you're not really dealing with the person. You're dealing sometimes with a chatbot, an AI type of products, because chatbot is just one among the many. If you want to be able to raise a concern, you have to submit the issue. You have to make sure you have the facts that back you up, and then you can be able to change. If you are a student who wants to get into the job market, you have to be humble enough to be an attachee or an intern, depending. And for you to do that, you have to be able to be told that you're right and you're wrong. You have to be humble enough to be able to go through the process, your 3-month, 6-month process, depending on the company, the institution, or the industry. You have to understand that sometimes that world is very unfair. Actually, it's a bit unfair. It's unfair from the context of payment. It's unfair from the context of treatment. It's unfair on many things. But There's an experience. As long as you don't die, you get poisoned like I did, yeah, you're pretty much safe to an extent. However, you get an experience and you learn. By the time you get that job, you'll understand the value of the job. Yes, we do have places where it's very tricky, but if you keep your moral and ethical values to heart. For example, if you're a beautiful lady, sadly, top management, top managers or senior level or executive will start selling you the idea that, well, we can promote you, but body, you know, we like your body, we like ABCD, I'll give you this to give you that. I normally call it the other industry in prostitution. Or if you are a guy, you'll be worked until you are complete. Or if your top level managers are like women or men, again they'll tell you, hey, we can give you something. I can give you a BMW. You don't need to work that hard. And every time I always say excuses are sad, because if we don't take action, if you see an issue, you're supposed to thoroughly investigate it. First, find the root cause, thoroughly investigate, make sure you are dealing with facts, not opinions. Make sure that you are dealing with issues that you can be able to substantiate, and then you can be able to say, fine, I have looked at this issue, I have done a total deep dive, I've investigated everything, I have analyzed, I've evaluated. These are the facts at hand, not the opinion. Remember, opinions are and can be very biased depending on different people's experience or interest or intention. If you don't do the job right, you will get whatever type of results that you're going to get. Are they the results you wanted? I don't think so. And so here we are in life. If you want to, let's say, date or be dated, whichever way you look at it, one, you have to look at yourself. How do you present yourself? How do you dress? How do you talk? Two, what are you looking for in that dating? Are you looking for a relationship, a situationship? Is it a one night stand? Then you have to move on and say, fine, what person are you looking for? Are you looking on it on an ethnicity? Are you looking at it from a type of a race? All those factors you have to put in mind. Because remember, whoever you date makes or breaks you. There's no way around it. And then what happens if you end up becoming a single mom or a single dad in that situationship or maybe relationship? And again, you also have to consider the mental health of the person you're dealing with, because many people have filters, whether physical or digital filters. And then you meet the mad woman or the mad man in that relationship, the cycle of the cycles. What do you do? And now the scary part, you even have a child with them. And how do you work around that? How many custody battles will you be dragged in court? How much of your finances, your mental, your emotional, your spiritual health will be impacted or broken down? Many things you must, because you just can't randomly say there's so many women. For example, I being a guy would say that there's so many women out there, I can choose. No, doesn't work like that. You have to be careful. You have to look at yourself. So you say you want to a woman, what do you have on your hand to keep that person? Should that friendship or friendship turn into a relationship, or that moment, what will you feed them? Will you feed them love? Because love won't be able to keep anyone for long. So there are reality checks you have to look at. And if you can't, you have none of that, let them be. You do your thing, let them do their thing. Don't need to go and move to the smash and pass kind of mentality, because there's many smash and passes mentality or hookup culture that you may want to embrace. Knock knock STDs, knock knock STIs, knock knock all types of diseases, knock knock all types of soul ties, knock knock all types of troubles, which could have been avoided if all you did was just not be part of it. So excuses never make any progress. The only way we make progress is, first we have to look at the root cause of the issue, analyze, make sure we have no bias or any stereotypical mindset, approach it with an open mind, be open for the uncomfortable conversations we'll have to deal with, and then make the move. But excuses without action is like sitting, is like being having food on the table and not eating it, expecting your mouth will just figure it out without opening it, and without your hands being able to, carry put the spoon and up to your mouth. Be realistic. Excuses without action is baseless and makes no sense.